Pelosi, who knows? I mean, other people in Congress, they wanna pass something where they can only invest in like large cap index funds like the S&P 500. Mm-hmm. They're not passing it. They don't care.
They don't care. No. It's completely bipartisan. You know, it's not like Nancy Pelosi is the scapegoat. She's the one that everybody beats on. But if you look at it, it's red, blue, across the line. They're all doing it.
Yes.
They're all trading. They're all making shit tons of money. They all go into Congress broke. They all come out rich as fuck.
Yes.
And they get $100,000 a year. Fuck off. Fuck off. It's crazy. What is, pull up the Santos case. Find out what's happening. I'm fascinated by that.
I mean, honestly, it's today's the second. I guess it was yesterday. He was contacted by NPR, and
he's contacted by NPR.
Was like, it's news to me.
He said it's news to him.
There you go. Reached by NPR.
Well, that's news to me. When asked about the insider trading probe underway, this activity on Kalshi, Santos said, "I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no." When the NPR questioned whether he had a Kalshi account, he went on to say the co-founder of Kalshi, Luana Lopez Lara, is a fellow Brazilian whom he personally knows. He said he would call her to get to the bottom whether an investigation had been launched. Santos promised to update NPR on how the call went. He did not respond to NPR's follow-up messages. The thing is, like, he had some crazy background discrepancies that, you know, they deviated from the truth slightly, right? There was some other stuff. It wasn't just this. Like, that's what the guy does.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he's in this amazing position. He's got a name. He's famous. People like him. He's fun. And he got a fucking pardon from the president.
It's crazy.
Like, bro, straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Get yourself a podcast. Get yourself a YouTube show. You would make some real money. He would make some real money.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that guy, man. I really don't. I think he's just trying to get rich quick.
Let's see. Jamie put it into perplexity. It says, he built much of his public persona on false claims about his biography, finances, and identity, and later also faced criminal charges tied to deception and fraud. Damn. He falsely claimed degrees from Baruch, is that how you say it? Baruch College in New York and NYU, even saying he graduated summa cum laude, although he has no college degree. He said he worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup. Both firms reported no record of him as an employee. Finance and career, Santos portrayed himself as a seasoned Wall Street financier and successful businessman, reporting a rapid jump in income and large loans to his campaign, while journalists found big gaps and unclear sources of wealth. He claimed Jewish heritage and that his grandparents were Holocaust refugees, later backing off, saying he was Jew-ish. After his maternal family background, not actually Jewish. He also made disputed statements about being a landlord with a family real estate portfolio and about his mother's death being related to 9/11, although she died in 2016.
That's crazy. What a king. I love him.
There's a bunch more.
Animal rescue claims. He said he founded a nonprofit that rescued 2,500 cats and dogs, but reporters found no records of such an organization. Cultural and lifestyle claims. A Brazilian drag performer shared photos of Santos in drag. He initially denied ever doing drag and later minimized it as just dressing up for a festival when he was young. That's a funny dude. He's a funny dude.
Back to jail.
Yeah, he's fucked. He was sentenced to 87 months in prison for wire fraud and aggravated identity theft, with officials describing his conduct as a mountain of lies, theft, and fraud. His short House tenure ended with expulsion after an ethics report detailed misuse of campaign funds, including personal luxury spending. Fucking dude, you could have been in jail for 87 months, and you got out, and you blew it all on a bet. Like, how much did he make off the bet?
It's very fresh, this story. Yeah. I heard it on the news this morning.
Homie.
I don't think it said specifically how much, because it was more about what he did. So I don't think they tracked his account, Kalshi. I don't think they've announced like how much he bet on it.
And that is hard to trace, which is why I think he did it.
Right.
I mean, those platforms are hard to trace. I think Polymarket, I think they're specifically like even just in crypto on the back end.
Oh, really?
If I'm not mistaken, or in those similar kind of exchanges. So like it's hard to track. So it's a good place to insider trade, and he made some money. But I think I listened on the news this morning. It said 4 people close to him reported him, though. So, yeah.
Well, when you're that kind of a fraudster, allegedly, and that kind of a liar, allegedly, you tend to not have close friends that you could trust. You probably fuck those guys over, too.
Yeah.
If they're turning him in, allegedly. I think it's funny, though, because it's really unfortunate. Because he had a real opportunity. Like, he became a public person.
Maybe he still does. Maybe he'll get another pardon.
No.
Who knows?
I doubt it. I doubt he'll give him a pardon for
I
that.
don't know why he got the first one.
He'd probably be so mad if Trump got a phone call from him asking for a second pardon.
Why did he get the first one? Do you know?
I have no idea. Let's find out. Let's ask.
Well, why he got the pardon?
Yeah, why did he get pardoned? There's a lot of people that got pardoned where you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
The Biden thing was nuts, where they pardoned more people than ever, any president ever. And how much of it was done with the auto pen? So he's literally like barely there, right? We all agree at this point. I mean, there used to be dispute. Oh, yeah, it was a stutter. We all now say he was barely there. So someone else was doing that. So what's the legality of that? What is the legality of selling pardons?
And the preemptive pardons, too.
Oh, those are nuts.
Yeah.
How about for crimes that just don't exist?
Yeah.
You're not accused of anything. What'd you do? He did not receive a pardon. His prison sentence was commuted by President Donald Trump, which let him out of prison early but left his convictions in place. Interesting. In October of 2025, Trump signed a commutation for former Representative George Santos, ordering his immediate release from federal prison, where he was serving a roughly 7-year sentence for fraud and identity theft. Commutation shortens or eliminates the punishment, but does not erase the conviction or declare the person innocent, unlike a full pardon. Trump said Santos had been horribly mistreated and had spent long periods in solitary confinement, which Trump framed as too harsh for a rogue politician compared with others. Commentators widely interpret the move as fitting Trump's pattern of granting clemency to political allies and loyalists rather than based on traditional justice system criteria. I mean, look, it's a weird thing that you could do. The fact that you're the president and you could just say, what did you do? You robbed a bank? You're sorry. Get free. Meanwhile, if you don't know the president, you're in the bank forever. Like, that is a crazy loophole that still exists that makes no logical sense whatsoever.
Yeah. You just help people around you or your kids, whatever it is.
Or a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Donation. Somebody hooks you up and you know them and their cousin needs a thing and there's a guy and maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. But you can get him out.
I mean, I'd pardon a lot of people if I was
I would
president.
pardon a fuckload of people.
Yeah. I get it.
Well, on this show, we've done a lot of work with my friend Josh Dubin, who used to work with the Innocent Project, and now he works with the Ike Perlmutter Center for Legal Justice or Criminal Justice. So it's all people that are wrongly convicted, and there's a shit ton of them. And you find out that there's these rogue politicians, or rather prosecutors, these rogue prosecutors and rogue DAs and rogue cops that just have fucking dozens and dozens of bullshit convictions where they fucking hid evidence. They absolutely knew the person that they arrested was the wrong person. They don't care. They just want a conviction. They don't care. They lose their ability to give a fuck whether or not the person that's in jail is actually guilty of that crime. And they justify it in their head, well, he was a drug dealer, or he was a this, or he was a that, and he fucked off his whole life. We're better off with him being in jail. Let me go to Morton's and have a steak.
You take that, and then you compare it with like every violent crime that has happened in Austin this year are people that have been repeat criminals just let loose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so locking up people that don't deserve it, and then a guy off a 360 here in Austin killed his family. And he was let out a couple times before. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that. That's a different thing. You know, so you got both things, right? You have these very liberal DAs who are letting people go if they think that they're, from a protected class, or if they think they've experienced racism or they've experienced some sort of an unjust situation as a youth and they need a second chance and the system is racist, and so you let them loose. But you've got people that, like the guy that pushed someone in front of the train in New York City had been arrested over a dozen times. Like, the fuck are you doing? And there's some kind of crazy statistic, particularly about New York City, that something like 50% of all the crimes are by a very small number of people.
Oh, yeah.
A very small number of repeat people. And if those people were in jail, literally crime, you could half violent crime, half robberies. Half.
Yeah.
50%.
It's crazy. I saw some people do an analysis of like the kind of content and news we were getting in 2015 by people that I watched and liked, like the Vlog Brothers and stuff on YouTube, where everything was about the prison industrial complex, which I'm not saying is not a thing. It's certainly, there's definitely issues for sure. But it was about how, we have the highest prison population and stuff. And again, these aren't untrue things, but it started putting out all this unchallenged information about how we are too critical in this country and too punishing. And then what you started to see after that was the politicians like the DA here, or the DA in San Francisco, coming around the 2020 stuff after the George Floyd situation and everything, where all of a sudden it was beyond soft on crime, like beyond, where they could do any amount of property damage that they wanted in San Francisco and just no challenges. So the DA in Chicago that raised, I think, the theft for felony threshold from like $50 to $500 or something. It was something crazy. So all that information,
I think it was $900.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All that information that we were all consuming was just unchallenged. And all you had was like a boomer on Fox News just yelling. That was like the only challenge to that kind of information that was coming around 2015. And I was a fan of that information. I ate it alive. And then now we're facing the consequences of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Well, it's also, you find out that there's sort of a dark element to it all. And there's people like George Soros and the Open Society Foundation. And what they do is they invest their money in politicians. They invest their money in DAs, and they get like the most liberal, the most, progressive, the one who's going to do the most damage to the city in terms of crime. And then he funds the next guy to compete against him who's further left. And they just go further and further and further until you've got people like the guy they got rid of in Los Angeles that, was just violent crimes. This guy pulled a knife on a sheriff who was trying to attack a sheriff with a knife, and then they let him out, and then he hacked up some guy with his kids with a fucking machete in Malibu or in Santa Monica, wherever it was. It's like you hear these stories and you're like, this is fucking insane. When someone's a violent criminal and they commit violent crimes, they need to go to jail. And if you don't do that, you're going to encourage people to do violent crimes. So why are these prosecutors doing this? Why are these DAs doing this? Are they doing it because they want to? Do they want society to fail? Well, some of them do. Some of them actually do. They would like our civilization to fall. They think America is evil. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Elon's deep into it, man. I've had conversations with him about it, and he explains the way Soros does it, and that it's a great investment because, like, to invest in politicians in terms of, like, to spend money on a campaign for the president, it's a lot of money. Spend money on a campaign for becoming the governor, that's a lot of money. But a local DA, not that much money. And for a great return on your investment, you can fucking tank a city by having one insane DA. Like, who was the guy in L.A. they got rid of? Was it Garza? Was that what his name? This guy was fucking out there. I mean, he was releasing all kinds of crazy criminals. And you're like, why would you do that? And there was a podcast that I was listening to where there was a former gang leader who was leaving Los Angeles because he was saying it's getting too dangerous and they're about to release thousands of people from prison because the prisons are overcrowded. So they're releasing thousands and thousands of violent offenders. And he was sounding the alarm for it. Former gang leader. He's like, this is too hot. We got to get out of here.
Like, that's the primary reason I'm against the things like all the funding for the train in California, specifically because I actually really I'm a big advocate for public infrastructure and even like dense living. Like, I love when you visit a place that is like dense and really cool, lots of community. I love that. We can't do that because we have these people that just let the violent criminals out. They let people hop fares in San Francisco and smoke meth on the train. I want trains. I wish Austin had an incredible subway system. We can't if we keep letting out these horrible people that'll be everywhere. These people with mental health issues that we won't put in a place that is more humane than letting them sleep on the street. We'll let them crash at the... Anytime me and my girl, we drive past a bus stop, and we're just like, we would never ride a bus here.
Right.
Because just I've seen people light up a meth pipe on South Lamar at a bus stop, and there's just people that are just sleeping there, and you can't even wait for a bus. I want these nice things. We can have these nice things, but we can't if we just let people overrun them.
So what do you think, if you had to put on your tinfoil hat and really try to make an assessment of like why this is happening? Like, why are they allowing this? Why hasn't no one done what is the sensible thing? Protect the peaceful, tax-paying, kind, and compassionate people of the city from violent criminals. Why are you allowing these people to continually be released? Why are you so soft on crime? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, honestly, definitely not as deep as Musk is on this. But for me, I really think it's this political capture. When you get in those ecosystems now online, you can get on TikTok and it'll immediately figure out within 3 minutes what group to put you in. And then you hear no other perspective.
Right.
And we know young generations, especially young women, they've moved more politically extreme than any other generation in the history of the United States. And they've moved to the left, left, right, I don't care, but they've moved to the extreme version. And when you're politically captured, you then vote for the people that are more politically captured on that left. And there is a lot of that moral masturbation that comes with it. It sounds good.
Yeah.
We had all that information around 2015, 2020 that anyone that's going to prison is, just for having weed or anything like that, we're just evil as a society.
Right.
And when you get that and you start moral masturbating about everything, it sounds right. Like things like rent control, it sounds good.
Right.
It sounds like the moral thing to do. Not just putting people in prison for a long time. Sounds nice. Not kicking people off the street when they're homeless. It sounds nice. Not doing those sweeps. It sounds nice.
Yeah.
And people that are politically captured online, especially in our algorithms, it's just so brutal. And they just vote for that on repeat because they hear no alternative perspective. And even still, it's so politically captured now where it's like, if you disagree with 1%, you're a Nazi and you're get out of here. You're not one of us.
Right.
It's pretty brutal. I always considered myself like pretty left of center, actually. I'm probably more centrist now. Economically, I've moved a little to the right over the past few years, but compared to the people surrounding me in college that were definitely like far left, because music school and all that stuff, but they were still algorithmically captured. I was borderline like a Nazi because I just didn't agree with everything.
Yeah.
Maybe the taxes shouldn't fund tits.
Right.
I'm sorry if I'm a Nazi for that. Like, we have too much bloat.